Cutting across to all the row in Maharashtra, we're looking at the Hanuman Chalisa controversy exploding. BJP leader of the opposition in Maharashtra, Devendra Fadnavis, now slams Uddhav Thackeray government. Fadnavis claims Sena is losing control over the state of Maharashtra. Fadnavis says that BJP, in fact, trying to, while Fadnavis blames Uddhav Thackeray of siding with a certain community, here Shiv Sena further going on to claim that BJP is hiding the failures, their own failures in the state, which is why they're coming out with protests of such nature. Now, meanwhile, we're also looking at Sanjay Raut hitting out at the Ranas, says do not try to raise war against the Shiv Sena. Sanjay Raut warns Ranas, says do not touch Matoshree. Remember, let me first take you through the reactions coming in on this. Let's have a listen.
मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि केवल सिंपैथी प्राप्त करने के लिए, सहानुभूति प्राप्त करने के लिए और अपनी नाकामी छिपाने के लिए इस प्रकार के स्टेटमेंट वो देते हैं। देखिए, पहली बात तो ये है कि जब इनसे कोई चीज़ संभली नहीं जाती तो ऐसी सारी चीज़ों को बीजेपी स्पॉन्सर्ड बोलते हैं, अपनी नाकामी छिपाने का प्रयास करते हैं।
शिवसेनेच्या वाटेला जाऊ नका, मातोश्रीशी छेडछाड करू नका, 20 फूट खाली गाडले जा, हे मी कॅमेरा समोर सांगतो। शिवसेनेच्या संयमाची परीक्षा पाहू नका।
All right, let me quickly cut across to Mustafa Sheikh joining us live for more on that. Mustafa, we're looking at Sena's reaction. First, let me cut across to Amit Malviya on that. Mr. Malviya, here we are looking at a reaction coming in from Devendra Fadnavis in Maharashtra. Here, Fadnavis, of course, saying that Sena has lost control over the state of Maharashtra, while the response coming from the Sena is that the BJP is attempting to hide their flaws, indulging in such nature of protests only to cover up. Your take on that?
Well, it's quite ironical that Balasaheb Thakray's son is today scared of Hanuman Chalisa. And clearly the Shiv Sena is not in control. They just have a figurehead as the chief minister. The rest of the administration, the policies, and the government is run by the NCP, and Mr. Pawar is controlling the party. The Shiv Sena Supremo Uddhav Thackeray is a mere puppet in his hand at the moment.
Give us an understanding. We are seeing the Ranas who've stopped their protests. They claim that Prime Minister Modi is going to be arriving and therefore they've pulled back. We're seeing this blame game that continues, and it's quite a commotion there in parts of Maharashtra.
I mean, I don't understand what the commotion is and why is Uddhav Thackeray so scared of Hanuman Chalisa suddenly, a party which claimed to be a Hindutva party and whose founder Balasaheb Thackeray was known as this Hindutva icon. His son and his grandson are today squeamish about their Hindu identity. It's surprising.
Well, the Ranas also claim that Sena workers attempting to barge into their homes. Would you corroborate that statement?
Well, the fact is that the Shiv Sena is a bunch of hoodlums and they have been let loose on the streets of Maharashtra. We've seen several violent incidents. I'm not surprised if MP Navneet Rana is making those claims. They could well be true. And that again reflects the failure of the Maharashtra administration to contain these rioters of the Shiv Sena.
Right, Mr. Malviya, finally, what's the stand of the BJP when it comes to protests of such nature, reciting the Hanuman Chalisa? Is it that loudspeakers is what that needs to be banned entirely, or do you want to be allowed even in temples? What's the line of protest?
The Supreme Court has ordered that the loudspeakers in masjids should not be allowed. The BJP can't have a view which is different from the Supreme Court of India. However, in gross violation of the court's order, azans continue to play because the minority in this country have the unfettered right to violate law and inconvenience everybody.
Right, Mr. Malviya, thank you very much for joining us with those details. Here we're looking at some of the visuals that are coming in from parts of Maharashtra where we're seeing protesters really facing off over Hanuman Chalisa being recited on loudspeakers. In fact, this has almost become a Sena versus BJP flashpoint in the state of Maharashtra, while there has been several protests or voices raised against loudspeakers in mosques being used. You had the Sena reacting to that, saying that all loudspeakers should be adhering to decibel levels, the prescribed decibel levels. Here is the BJP in large numbers now slamming Sena, saying loudspeakers should be banned entirely. Let me cut across to Mustafa joining us more on that. Mustafa, please give us the crux of what happened today. We're seeing some serious commotion coming in from parts of Mumbai, and this certainly has become a flashpoint. Loudspeakers inside mosques has now had a fallout with many within the BJP, saying if mosques are allowed to have loudspeakers, then we should very well be allowed to recite Hanuman Chalisa on loudspeakers. Please give us an understanding on what this controversy is all about.
Started from loudspeakers outside mosques, and then it went to MLA Ravi Rana and his member of parliament wife Navneet Rana challenging Uddhav Thackeray that on Hanuman Jayanti they should recite Hanuman Chalisa. And when it didn't happen, Ravi Rana and his wife came to Mumbai. This is the house which they were staying since last 2 days, and you can see the number of Shiv Sena which are present here even after calling off this entire protest. So they came here, this challenge that on Saturday, which is this morning 9 a.m. they will go to Matoshree and recite Hanuman Chalisa because Uddhav Thackeray has not done so. But as you can see, the Shiv Sainik gathered in large numbers, not only in Khar outside their residence, but also in Matoshree, which is the personal residence of Thackerays. They were there for last 2 days. The police had to give the Rana couple a preventive notice saying that if you move towards Matoshree, you have to be arrested. And once they have taken back this decision of not going, they have cited that as Prime Minister Narendra Modi is coming to Mumbai, given the security perspective.
We can barely hear what you're saying. We're looking at. Tell us what exactly do you see right behind you, Mustafa? Very hard to hear what you're trying to say.
Testing has come out after a long time. They have been in government since last 2.5 years after pandemic. You can say that the first.
Well, Mustafa, I'm going to come back to you. We're barely able to hear what you're saying. That kind of noise right behind you. Let's first cut across to several reactions coming in on this. Remember, this has become a flashpoint. Hanuman Chalisa to be recited on Hanuman Jayanti. Why should that not be allowed on loudspeakers, says the BJP in Maharashtra. Let's have a listen.
मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि केवल सिंपैथी प्राप्त करने के लिए, सहानुभूति प्राप्त करने के लिए और अपनी नाकामी छिपाने के लिए इस प्रकार के स्टेटमेंट वो देते हैं। देखिए, पहली बात तो ये है कि जब इनसे कोई चीज़ संभली नहीं जाती तो ऐसी सारी चीज़ों को बीजेपी स्पॉन्सर्ड बोलते हैं, अपनी नाकामी छिपाने का प्रयास करते हैं।
शिवसेनेच्या वाड्याला जाऊ नका, मातोश्रीशी छेडछाड करू नका, 20 फूट खाली गाडले जा, हे मी कॅमेरा समोर सांगतोय। शिवसेनेच्या संयमाची परीक्षा पाहू नका।